In the heart of a remote rural landscape, I settled into a quaint little house nestled among the embrace of towering mountains. The serenity of the surroundings was a stark contrast to the city life I had left behind. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across the horizon, I prepared to enjoy my first night in this tranquil haven. Dinner was a simple affair, and I settled onto the couch, the soft glow of the television providing a comforting backdrop. The room was illuminated by the gentle light of the bulbs above me, their warm radiance casting a sense of coziness. However, the tranquility was short-lived. As I watched the screen, a strange phenomenon unfolded. The light bulbs began to flicker erratically. At first, I brushed it off as a minor glitch, but the flickering persisted, growing more pronounced with each passing moment. A shiver ran down my spine as the room was cast into an unsettling dance of light and shadow. The air seemed charged with an eerie energy, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. And then, in an instant, my gaze was drawn to a figure at the edge of the room. My heart skipped a beat as I registered the person standing there, a specter, shrouded in mist, its form distorted and ethereal. My breath caught in my throat as I struggled to comprehend the impossible sight before me. The figure's features were obscured by the swirling mist, leaving its identity a mystery. The room seemed to hum with an otherworldly energy, a sense of unease that crawled beneath my skin. The figure raised its mist-covered hands, its voice a chilling whisper that cut through the air. "Get out of this place," it commanded, its words carrying a weight that sent a jolt of fear through me. The urgency in its tone was impossible to ignore, and a sense of dread settled over me like a heavy fog. Before I could react, the figure dissolved into mist, leaving behind a room that was once again bathed in the gentle glow of the light bulbs. The air seemed to still, as if the very atmosphere held its breath, waiting for what would come next. My heart raced as I sat there, grappling with the surreal encounter. The words echoed in my mind, and a cold sweat formed on my brow. I had witnessed something beyond explanation, an entity from a realm I couldn't comprehend. With resolve born of sheer terror, I made up my mind. The night was long and restless, the weight of the encounter bearing down on me. When the first rays of dawn pierced the horizon, I wasted no time. I packed my essentials, leaving behind the house that had once promised serenity. As I drove away from the rural retreat, a profound sense of unease lingered. The mountains that had once felt like guardians now seemed to harbor secrets I could never fathom. The encounter with the mist-covered figure served as a chilling reminder that some places hold a history beyond our understanding and that the boundary between the living and the ethereal can blur in the most unexpected of ways. The memory of that night will forever remain etched in my mind, a testament to the inexplicable mysteries that lie just beyond the edges of our reality, waiting to be uncovered by those who dare to venture into the unknown. In the quiet suburbs, there stood a house with an unsettling reputation, an old Victorian mansion that loomed over the street with an air of mystery. It was a place whispered about in hushed tones, the stories of its eerie history passed down through generations. I had heard the rumors, but like any curious soul, I dismissed them as mere tales meant to chill the spine. One fateful evening, my parents announced that they would be attending a family event out of town, leaving me home alone for the night. At 17, I relished the thought of having the house to myself, free to watch movies and enjoy a little solitude. But as darkness fell and the house settled into silence, an inexplicable unease crept over me. Trying to shake off my nerves, I immersed myself in a movie, the glow of the television offering some semblance of comfort. Time slipped away, and before I knew it, the clock struck midnight. With the movie credits rolling, the reality of being alone in the house sank in, and a shiver ran down my spine. As I prepared for bed, I couldn't escape the sensation of being watched. Every creak of the floorboards seemed amplified, each gust of wind outside sending shivers down my arms. I chided myself for succumbing to my imagination and climbed into bed, determined to sleep away my fears. The night was eerily silent, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves outside. Just as I began to drift into sleep, a faint sound roused me, a soft whisper, too faint to discern the words. My heart raced as I strained to listen, but the silence returned as if the house itself held its breath. As my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I caught sight of movement at the foot of my bed, a shadow, elusive and fleeting. Panic gripped me as I reached for the lamp beside me, but as the light flooded the room, there was nothing there, only the stillness of my surroundings. Convinced that my imagination was running wild, I forced myself to lie back down, determined to ignore the irrational fear that had taken hold. But then, a cold breeze swept through the room, ruffling the curtains and causing the flame of the candle on my nightstand to flicker ominously. I sat up, my heart pounding as a sense of dread filled the air. And then, from the corner of my eye, I saw her, a figure standing by the window, her features obscured by darkness. My voice caught in my throat as I tried to make sense of the impossible sight. She seemed to radiate an otherworldly energy, a spectral presence that defied explanation. With trembling hands, I fumbled for my phone, casting its glow toward the figure. But there was nothing there, just an empty room bathed in the soft light of the screen. The figure had vanished as if it had never existed. In that moment, the house seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy. Shadows danced on the walls, and the air grew heavy with an invisible weight. An overwhelming urge to flee gripped me, and I leapt out of bed, stumbling toward the door. As I reached the hallway, the lights overhead flickered and dimmed. The walls seemed to close in around me, and the air grew icy cold. Footsteps echoed behind me, but when I turned, there was nothing but darkness. With a racing heart, I sprinted downstairs, desperate to escape the suffocating atmosphere of the house. The front door loomed before me, a beacon of freedom. But just as my hand touched the doorknob, a whisper brushed against my ear, a voice that sent chills down my spine. "Stay." Terror seized me, and I wrenched the door open, stumbling onto the porch. The night air was a welcome reprieve, and I didn't stop running until I reached the safety of the street. As I caught my breath, I glanced back at the house, its windows dark and silent. The events of that night defied all rational explanation, leaving me with a chilling realization: the whispers were true, and the house held secrets that were best left undisturbed. Even now, I can't shake the feeling that the house's history is entwined with something beyond our understanding. It serves as a reminder that in the stillness of the night, when we're most vulnerable, the boundary between the living and the unknown can blur, revealing glimpses of a world that eludes explanation.